Hi, this is Scott Russell, the owner of the Collector Connection. We're here with episode 2 of the Auction Insider. If you recall, episode 1 was about buyer math for the auction. Well, this time we're going to cover seller math. So there's a couple of different things to keep in mind when you're the seller with an auction and you're negotiating with an auction house or you're just looking at your results. So the first thing is the buyer's premium. The auction houses, there's a range of buyer's premium in the industry. The top companies have moved all the way up to 22.5% or even 23% buyer's premium. Now you say, well, I'm the seller, how does that affect me? Well, because smart buyers take that into account when they're placing their bids. So I have two examples here, one at what's becoming a common 22.5% and one at our 17.5%. So if the seller ultimately pays $2,000, that's the sale price, with a buyer premium of 2.5% and a commission of 10%, which wouldn't be unusual for a $2,000 item from one of the big auction companies, if that was your only item in the consignment. If you consigned hundreds of thousands of dollars and had one $2,000 item, that would be different. But supposing you consigned just one $2,000 item, the buyer paid 22.5% buyer's premium, and you got charged 10% commission, you would walk home with $1,469.39 of that $2,000. With our company, if you gave us that $2,000 item, you were charged 17.5% buyer's premium, and our commission on a $2,000 single item is 5%, you would walk home with $1,617.02, for a difference of about $150. So, some things to consider. Now you may ask, well, yeah, but the bigger company may get a better price. Well, if you reverse engineer the math, the big company or the company charging 22.5% and 10% would have to have a final sale price of $2,200 and change in order to get you that same $1,617. So you'd have to be convinced that they're going to get 10% more to get you the same price. Now, the other thing to consider with seller math, how are they going to sell your item? If you have a lot of $50 cards, the big auctions will want to sell that as what they may call a group lot or a shoebox lot or a collection lot. They're not going to want to sell those individually. They're not interested in $50 items. So let's say they took them and sold them as a lot for you, and they got $2,000 for that lot. Well, that's not a bad price. $50 cards, you got $40 a piece for them, selling them wholesale or in bulk, or however you like to phrase it. Well, we already know what those numbers will equal. That'll be $1,469.39, the same as up here. We would sell every one of those cards individually. So in all likelihood, we would get you the $50 a piece. Some might go 60, some might go 40, but you're going to average the 50 a piece that they should. That's $2,500. Now, at 17.5% buyer's premium. Now, our commission, because selling them individually is a lot more work, under $100, you're going to pay us 20% commission. So a higher commission compared to the 10% for the company that sold them all as one group lot. Still, selling them individually and getting the better price, you get $1,702.13, so almost $250 more. So again, even if they get $2,200, that still only gets you up to the $1,617.02, so we're still almost $100 ahead. So don't always just look at commission, look at what you're getting for that commission. If I'm doing low effort, sell them as a group lot, I don't need to charge a huge commission because there's not a lot of labor involved. But if I'm breaking them down and selling 50 cards individually, and it takes a cataloger about 12 minutes to catalog and photo and auction and then pack it for shipping, we have to get paid more for that, but the idea is the difference in the sale price is more than going to make up for the difference in the commission. That's seller math.